Clase, María quería ir a una cita. Quería ir a una cita con un pingüino, se llamaba Pedro. Romántica. Clase, había un mono, se llamaba María, que quería ir a una cita con un pingüino, se llamaba Pedro. Quería. Clase, María quería bailar con Pedro, ¿sí o no? ¿Quería bailar, sí o no? No, no quería bailar. Clase, la chica María quería mirar al pingüino Pedro, ¿sí o no? No. Clase, el mono María quería ir a una cita con Pedro, ¿sí o no? Sí, qué romántica. Clase, pausa. Now I want us to take a second. On your storyboards, I want you to draw what has happened in the story thus far. What has happened in the story right now? And then I want you to take a second and write one line in Spanish to the best of your ability that tells us what is happening in this story. Take 2 minutes and go ahead and do this. Honestly, if you taught Spanish too, you could try to give those directions in Spanish.
Okay, so...
I'm writing them, penguin. Girl, no creativity.
So with,
penguin, no.
As I got lost.
I've been
Pedro.
reading it, but, so, with,
You are going to
like,
leave here a
students
fluent
that,
speaker.
because like sometimes when I say like, see you now,
Cool.
and they're like, no! Like,
Oh, I
would I try to just do the same thing as like when they say the word out loud? That
yeah, I would give that the warning, and then I would also like just correct the stories, make sure everybody really knows what's happening.
Yeah. Okay.
So the same right there. So like now if I go around these, I see El mono quería una cita con un pingüino. Good, she gets it. La mona, el mono. Va a una cita con el pingüino. Good, she gets it. Because remember, this is our first time in the past tense. Your students probably aren't going to be writing fully in the past tense. So you get this idea that this is what's going on. What also just got to happen for your brains?
Visual and writing.
Visual, writing, and it's not just listening anymore. Now we've taken a step out of listening and we've gone to a different processor. You've given you another option to process. Processing visually and in writing, not just listening anymore. Because it's hard to listen. Think about like your workout. This is your mental workout for your kids to listen in Spanish. You don't want them to have to like be lifting 300 pounds for 20 minutes straight. They're not gonna get those biceps overnight. So we're gonna give them a break and then bring them back into it. Okay, clase. Un día, María caminaba a la cita y se tropezó. María caminaba a la cita y se tropezó. Pobre María. Clase. María caminaba a la cita y saltó, ¿sí o no? ¿Y saltó? ¿Saltó? ¿Sí o no? No. Clase, María caminaba a la cita y bailó, ¿sí o no? No. Clase, María caminaba a la cita y se tropezó, ¿sí o no? Sí, se tropezó. Se tropezó. Clase, María se tropezó con una roca pequeña. Pobre. Caminaba y se tropezó con una roca pequeña. Clase, sí o no. El mono María se tropezó con una roca grande, ¿sí o no? No, no una roca grande. Se tropezó con una roca pequeña. Clase. María caminaba, caminaba, se tropezó con la roca pequeña y se cayó. Oh. Caminaba, caminaba a la cita, caminaba a la cita, se tropezó y se cayó. Pobre María. Clase. María caminaba a la cita, se tropezó, ¿sí o no? Sí, sí. Se tropezó y se levantó. Oh, no. Pobre María. Caminaba, caminaba, se tropezó y se cayó. Pausa. I want us to update our comic strips right now. What has happened to Maria? ¿Qué pasó con María? And I'll point out to you that Aaron, the one person who doesn't know Spanish in the room or is learning, is like using the words on the board. That's where they have to be there, because when they're writing their story right now, this is what she's using to help spell. This is where she's similar the auditory to like the actual physical putting it on paper. And I would write it bigger if this is my room, just because like we have a lot of big board space in our rooms in El Dorado, but if you don't, chart paper, butcher paper, large board, PowerPoint slide, whatever you've got in your room.
I think what I need to laminate, but the laminator is not working.
Well, you could just use loose leaf paper or like scrap. They could draw this themselves. You just tell them to draw 6 boxes and label the top. Yeah. Yeah, just tell them to fold it in 3. Like there's a lot. You don't have to laminate these.
No, the thing is, I can. Yeah, but I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Doing another paper.
I used to
I
make.
mean, you create it. Or
I-
it's more of a like.
If they,
Focus.
yeah, I mean, it's more for focus, but it's also like if kids are like using it to write their complete sentences, and this was your extra ticket for the day, beyond like this little extra ticket, there's no problem with that. You could grade it, and I would probably grade it for completion, to help really reinforce the listening expectation in your classroom. This is why you listen. I have a problem with this monkey because I always want to tie its leg. It's like I've been teaching in TPRSing before, and like in the middle of the story, they're like, his arms are tied together. I'm like, look at Maria. I'm like, what did you do?
So before we go on, I have a question for anybody who has taught for more than 5 weeks. So I am like something I'm starting to get into now with like Spanish 1 is more writing, like just like starting how we like construct sentences and like thinking of like, so you like take the story that we just listened to and then write out like what happened in it. And the way that like kids naturally think of a story is in the past tense, because like they listen to the story, but like I can't. But they're like, oh, Mr. Cook, how do I say was? And I can't tell them. Like
I would just tell them to say is.
Yeah.
So how do we reinforce more, and like what have y'all done to like reinforce like in Spanish 1 like we're learning everything in present tense right now?
Honestly, it comes from this verb. They have to know that this actually does not mean trip. It means trips.
Okay.
He or she trips. And when you teach the verb, one of the best things, I did this till my 2nd year, but one of the best things you need to teach them he, she, it trips. Because then when they conjugate it, it automatically goes to present tense in their brain.
Okay.
And it's not too late to just quickly do
Because in
it.
their quizzes too, sometimes they'll answer like that, and I'll just fix it. And I'll tell them like, they're like, did you count this wrong? I'm like, no, I'm just correcting it.
Yeah, that's what I did on everything except for like the translations on their first test for Spanish 1 was like if they had it like for translations if it was in the wrong tense they took off 1 point. But like for like TPR vocab if they wrote like if I said tiene and they said had, I'm like, well, you had the context, like you're on the right track. But
yeah, I wouldn't punish them for that. But yeah, you just have to make sure that when like you give them these, it has the S on the end, so they know it's 3rd person singular.
Okay. So I think like sometimes I haven't been like writing the word on the board in English,
Okay.
and you would say
Yeah, they're like cementing it to their heads wrong. Yeah.
Do
that
they
one, but-
keep TPR dictionaries?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Also, a lot of my kids are like, we just got out of like academic probation last year,
Yeah.
and a lot of my kids are doing really bad on like literacy, so it's really hard. Like I have to like teach them English grammar first and English.
Yeah.
Like, so
Yeah.
how would you?
I mean, we're also a literacy-focused school. They should learn grammar. So the best way that they're going to learn Spanish grammar is through reading TPR stories because they're going to see it written that much. So like and I'm just going to use Erin's again. When she wrote her sentences for that storyboard, she's using this that I have on the board to write it. So she's writing it correctly because she's seeing it correctly written up here. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So when they're reading those short stories like Juanita quiere ir a una cita con SpongeBob, they're gonna like internalize quiere ir as like a thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like keep making sure that people use like that breaks or break kind of thing. It is challenging. Yeah, like maybe literacy is hard.
Well,
All right.
yeah, because some of them they say, well, I don't even know how to say that in English, and you're
Yeah.
teaching me
What do you say? We're gonna learn.
Spanish.
We're gonna learn both together. That's all I used to tell them. We're gonna learn both together. They can learn it. All right. Repaso. Review. Nelly, update us. What's happened in the story so far?
So they're
And
going.
you can pause. Let's just stop at this.
English?
Yeah, I would let the kid do English, and you can call on anybody because they have an updated storyboard.
Right. So they're going on a date, a
Ooh.
romantic date.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Yeah. And but then el mono se cayó.
María se cayó. ¿Por qué?
Una piedra chiquita.
Sí.
Very small.
Una roca pequeña se tropezó
Y una roca.
y se cayó. Entonces, clase María, el mono María, caminaba a una cita con Pedro, se tropezó con una roca pequeña, se cayó, clase, rompió su diente. Caminaba, se tropezó, se cayó y rompió su diente. Pobre María. Clase, sí o no. María se cayó, sí o no.
Sí.
Sí, se cayó. Clase, María se cayó y rompió su mano, sí o no. No. Clase, se cayó y rompió su nariz, sí o no. No. Now let's pause right here. You're getting in these repetitions to review body parts because you're pointing to them and showing them. Small little things. Entonces, clase, sí o no. El mono se cayó y rompió su diente, sí o no. Sí. Pobrecita. Clase, María caminaba, se tropezó, se cayó y rompió su diente frontal. Se tropezó, se cayó y rompió su diente frontal. Pobrecita. Pausa. Let's update the last box on our storyboards right now. What just happened in our story? Questions while you're drawing.
Yeah, I
Yep.
had a question before I went to the restroom. Like, so for Spanish one, what I draw out, like what I write on the board, roca pequeña.
If it's new, yes. Roca is kind of a cognate, and you can
Yeah.
play with cognates. And I would say like roca. Connor, what do you think roca means? Aaron, what do you think roca means? Like as long as kids
Deposit.
get it, yeah, then you're good. If they're not, just write it on the board.
Oh my God.
We're getting a test of our drawing abilities. Here's what I would say though also. The first time you do this, you might draw a comic strip on your board, and this is like a really where you're saying like draw 6 boxes, just draw 6 boxes on your board to model it for them. Then you might say, let's draw this, and then update the sentence with them. No, me neither. Oh yeah,
You
me.
can't say that to them though, because
Yeah.
then they're gonna be like, I can't draw
There is
either.
an art to faking it in all things in life, especially in education.
can have
I
a
used to,
drawer on
everything
the
used to